Hello, welcome to the Joel Fleischman Happy Hour Podcast, episode number 67. I'm here with Sam Ubel from Chase Nation, as well as Steve Jeffrey, who is from Drexel Building Supply and Chase Nation. Cheers, guys. Welcome.
Cheers. Cheers.
We are drinking the Drexel Horse Medicine today, made in Amherst, Wisconsin. Shout out to Central Waters, our sponsor.
So good.
Yeah, I actually like it.
I do too.
I forgot how much I like beer. Sometimes.
We need to get some Chase Nation cans made, I think. You have to put in a word for me.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of neat.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it's not bad. You know, a lot of private breweries right now will help you formulate even a flavor and a roster, and they'll work with you on small batches. It's more readily available than people probably think.
I always thought about getting like a bourbon, or whiskey.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the cost would be, but the volume that I would want would be significantly less than I think I would need to move in order to replenish my investment.
It's actually not true. We've actually had that done. That is out of, you get a single barrel, and they actually will send you 3 or 4 samples. I think we had 6 samples that time of different bourbons of that barrel. And you actually get the barrel when it's done, which is cool. So you get your wooden barrel,
cool.
And it's 125 bottles. So it's not a huge, and they case it up for you 12 in a case. So a really great client you can give the whole case to. It was pretty cool. It was really cool.
It was good bourbon too.
That's out of Fitchburg.
You've had some then.
We need to talk about which one we're going to do, the beer or the whiskey.
Yeah, both. Come on now.
Yeah, right.
Think big, dream big. You can also do vodka too.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
There's vodka distilleries that do that as well. And wine. We've done private label wine as well. So anyways, welcome guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, this is great. Episode 67. We always do famous 67s, and this one's easy for me. That's what I wore in high school for football. So
Number 67.
there you go. Shout out to Kewasin, class of 92. What's up, fellas? We were horrible. I was starting defensive end and right guard. Played both ways, never came off the field. So old school football back then. And I was little. I was this big, 170, probably 160, 170 on the old playbook. So pretty small dude, but I use all the tips and tricks.
Well, you kind of have like the build and the look of Jason Hairston, who's late now. I mean, he passed away, but he's the one that started Kuyu. He also founded Sitka.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, and then
That
sold
sounds like
Sitka.
a compliment. I'll take it as a compliment.
He was in the NFL, for a couple of years, so you kind of resemble him.
I can't afford Sitka, but I love it.
That's why you go with the Kuyu, the D2C, or Vail is
Vail
one of my
Camo now.
partners, so
it is,
we're
yeah,
just
great.
starting with them.
Sitka's great, but I can afford, like my son has a hat from Sitka, like that's like.
I know it's probably like $45 or something.
Yeah, that was like a
Yeah.
We were in Bozeman, Montana at an actual Sitka store, which was really cool, and we ended up with a hat.
Yeah. That was a little bit spendy.
And the hat seemed like, oh my gosh, here's my credit card. So welcome, guys.
Yeah.
What is Chase Nation?
So Chase
Wikipedia.
Nation is a video production company. We started out as this was a passion project to begin. So what it started out as is just a show, just an outdoor show, and we called it Unscripted Adventure.
What year?
2016, January.
Right, so you broke in a little bit before it went uber popular.
Yeah. Well, so what happened was, I had been filming with Wisconsin Whitetail Pursuit for a couple of seasons, and I was doing all of their editing.
On the side, this was not.
This was on the
gig.
side of my full-time, career job, and then I was filming with Whitetail Adrenaline for 2 seasons. In fact, I brought Steve along with me. The last year I filmed with Whitetail Adrenaline, and he ran camera over my shoulder for about 6 days, humping it through the ridges. I mean, it was extreme terrain in southeastern Minnesota, which is just hilly as all get out. And I mean, I didn't go easy. So he was carrying this huge camera, and I knew right then that he was in it to win it. And when I started Chase Nation in the following, winter in January 2016, Steve got involved, and a few of the fellows that I had been filming with at Wisconsin Whitetail Pursuit, they all jumped ship and joined me. And man, we've grown. I've got 14 guys on the team right now.
14 guys.
Guys and gals.
Guys and gals between hunters, production, and editing.
I do all the production and editing. The video, they're all videographers. They're all talented behind the camera. You've got guys like Steve here, who's a talented photographer and videographer.
How do you find people like that?
Man, it's just through the industry,
find
just
you?
from doing this. Like when I started Chase Nation, I brought in 6 guys from Wisconsin Whitetail Pursuit. I'd already been filming with them for a couple seasons, 3 seasons. So it was 2.5 seasons. I jumped in midway through the first season, and then the next 2 I was all in.
So how many subscribers do you have?
On YouTube?
Or overall, like what platforms are you on?
Yeah, so we are...
I follow YouTube, like that's what I watch.
Sure.
Right? But what platforms are
So
on? How do you track your success?
My media kit is comprised of all social media and streaming platforms. So Facebook.
Which ones are you chasing, right? I mean, not chasing. Which ones are you, as metrics, which ones are you hoping grow? Are you hoping that they hit every bucket?
The top 3 for me is YouTube, Carbon TV, and Roku KO TV, which is Keys Outdoors Television on Roku.
On Roku. What was the second one you said? I never heard of that.
It's Carbon TV.
Carbon TV.
Yeah, it's
Marcus,
all
you
outdoor
familiar with that?
television.
Oh.
Yeah, man, it's like anything from farm and country type video, like films and videos and shows, to podcasts are streaming there. In fact,
Now, this is downloadable. It's an app. Is it?
yeah,
it's
it's on
like-
smart TVs.
It's on your smart
phone.
TVs.
Yeah,
Right.
and
So it's like
online.
History Channel. You just download.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
just an app you can download.
Carbon
And
TV,
like
Carbon TV.
all of the
The hunters watching, listening to this are like, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what Carbon
Well,
TV
no, and so shame on Carbon TV. Maybe they just need to amp it up a little bit with their marketing.
Yeah, or maybe they're not marketing to us. Marcus and I are jocks, so we got the wrong crowd.
But
they have sports on there. I mean, they have they have all
Like
sorts
ledge
of.
games. Like
whereas like
Yes,
on
right.
YouTube, you've got to kind of like filter through some of weed through some of the like
Crap,
yeah, right, the Joe Blow Outdoors. If you want to watch like the actual founded shows, the guys that really put in the effort, that have like a standard behind their production quality, all of that, you can find that on Carbon TV. They've been weeded through. They've been hand selected, invited to be on the streaming platform. You can't just go willy-nilly like, hey, Carbon, can you put our show on there? They'll just laugh at you.
Yeah,
They won't laugh at you.
So
but
it's
they
like
just,
History Channel or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, okay, you need to be legit. We're
for
gonna do this
fishing,
together.
for hunting, for foraging, for diving, for farming, all that kind of stuff.
That's kind of cool. That's
It's
great right
not-
there. But so how many people are you connected with through just through YouTube? How many people
Yeah.
subscribe to you on YouTube?
On YouTube is small. That's a slow growth rate. That's only like 6,000 people.
Okay, so you're not like some sort of
We're not a YouTube
or-
sensation now.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm almost 40 years old. I'm in IT. I'm an IT person. So you'd think I'd be like really skilled at this YouTube thing. But I just make badass videos and put them up there and hope that somebody catches on.
You're not chasing the YouTube.
I don't. I
search
do a little
engines
bit
and
of
all that.
research, like
Right.
as far as like with the algorithm, I've learned how the algorithm ticks. I know that in the first 24 hours, if you maintain like a 50% retention rate,
Right.
you're going to have higher numbers. You're going to be recommended quicker. If you've got like a certain number of views in the first 24 hours, you're going to be recommended faster.
If they don't click off in the first 2 minutes.
And
right?
react-
So 2 minutes
yeah.
is like the huge thing.
Yeah, that retention rate. So we just put out this
That
brand
retention
new
rate,
video 5 days ago. It's 20 minutes long, and we've maintained between 50 and 57% retention.
That's all the way through, or just the first 2 minutes?
That's the first 12 minutes.
12 minutes. They
At
track
least
you.
between 50 and 57% of our users are people that watch that video.
And that's actually extremely high, right? Like
Yeah.
Usually people just click.
Yeah, yeah. And then when I look at our insights, I see that a lot of the video views have been through recommendations by YouTube. They're not by our subscribers. They're not by the links that we shared on Facebook, where we have a dozen like 12,000, like 11 or 12,000 followers. On Instagram, we have the same amount. It's like 10,000 followers or whatever on Instagram, and we push this stuff there. But we only see maybe 13 to 15% of our viewership comes from sharing those links. The majority of it is recommended.
Truly organic, if you will.
It's truly organic. And like this last video, we just grew 960 new subs in the last 5 days. And I've been there since 2016. So if you think about that, I just did 15% of my subscriber base in like a week, less than a week.
Right, when you're like, and we've been here, bro.
And that video, while everybody thinks it's God's gift, I mean, they're like, the editing is sick, the content's great, the adventure's real. Like, man, we've shot billy goats up in the mountains with stock hunts that are like 3 different camera angles.
Like way cooler.
We've been doing stuff like this for 6 years.
Yeah, where you all been?
Yeah, so these guys are like, oh, I can't believe I've never heard of you guys. It's like, well, damn, I'm glad you finally did.
So are you feeling like the grind's maybe catching up in here? Like, do you feel like there's going to be a tipping point with your company? Have you passed the tipping point? Or are you still chasing it?
Man, we're still climbing that hill.
How do you, so question for a lot of people, I'm guessing if it's just me, right? Pretty easy at Drexel to understand how we get revenue. We buy something, we mark it up, we sell it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you afford, I know they're not full-time, but how do you afford, where's the revenue coming from for your company?
So the revenue is meager.
You can't live on love,
No, so
or venison meat.
partnership agreements is just a tiny portion of where we generate revenue. The meat of
which would partnership agreements would be sponsorships.
Yeah,
merch, right,
exactly. Right. The merchandise is another portion. I'd say like merchandise is probably a quarter of our.
For the people that are listening, what merch means, like, hey, yeah, well, if you wear our shit, we'll give it to you, right? Basically.
I mean, it's like we make a bunch of T-shirts, a bunch of hats and hoodies, and we sell them online. And we sell them at the shows.
Revenue's on the shirts.
Yeah, so
you're not talking about getting merch. You're talking about selling.
We're talking about selling it. Yeah.
But that's a trick too, because you have the right sizes, the right styles, and the last 20 don't get selling. You give them away, and
when you're starting small, trying to maintain volume in sizes is challenging. Plus, I'm of the type that I like to have a bunch of colors. I like to have at least 2 or 3 different styles minimum.
So your inventory's exploding.
Yeah, and it's very costly.
Very, very costly.
So but every time we any money that we get in from apparel sales, we put right back in.
In apparel sales.
Yeah.
Like more inventory.
Yeah, just to build up that inventory.
So it's more brand awareness than actually
100%. Yeah, same with
So
details.
where's your revenue coming in from, right? So we kind of said
yep. So
a little bit.
So revenue, partnership agreements, there's, that's monetary sponsorships, right? And then from that, we've managed
that's like when the credits scroll, or you're bringing up their name during the video, like, man, I love this
Ruger. Right.
What's a good scope made in Wisconsin?
Vortex.
Oh, yeah, thank
you. And then
sorry, Vortex, if you're watching.
And then if you, once you start to build your network with your partners, and by the way, when you get these partnership agreements, it's not like, oh, hey, go link us on Facebook or something. Come on, that's generic. That's not really going to be value add for you as a sponsor.
It just sounds cool. It's an ego kick, right?
Yeah, but it's not worth much, man.
No,
really what it comes down to is
what the ego kick.
What do we do? What are we good at? And we're good at video production and photography. So if we can leverage our skills to give you something, in exchange, that's a value add for you, and it's a value add for us because you pay us, and then we pay you back with something that's worth, something more than just a click in a Facebook post. We'll do that too.
Or name scrolling across the screen.
Right.
But then there comes video production work for commercials, like Vail. We just signed with Vail Camouflage Company this year. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, and part of that partnership agreement is also a contract agreement to do 2 commercials for them, and that's a huge deal for us. Because, so the partnership agreement may pay X, right? But we want to make sure that if you're going to go pay some outside source to make commercials for you, look no further. We're right here. That's what we do.
So it's full circle.
Yeah.
It's a partnership drive. The partnership gives you incremental income and awareness for the Vail brand, which is what they're searching for, where you're like, no, let's full circle this. You're hiring production companies for your commercials.
Yeah.
I'll do that. And that's driving your real revenue.
Yep, and then,
Currently,
we do work for you, and then somebody says, who did that? That's awesome. It turned out great, and you let them know we did it, and then the next thing you know, we're getting a phone call from them.
Right, referrals, but probably somewhat within that industry, right? Like you're not.
No, man, we do it all. Anything. Even if you go on our website and you go up to, in fact, it's right behind you here. If you go to Book Us, if you go to Book Us, we even have weddings listed in there.
Are you worried that you're getting too
spread thin?
Yeah, so you're getting way out of your genre, right? Like, what's your mission? Like, what's your mission of Chase Mission?
So,
I'm doing a wedding video. Unless you're doing I only do camo wedding videos, but you're doing all of them. You're like, no, we do all of them. But I'm like, so it seems to me like perhaps if I'm Mark Cuban on Shark Tank, I'm like, who are you?
Yeah. So outdoors is the catalyst, right?
Right.
And the passion is the videography and the editing, the production side of things. So I married those things together to create Chase Nation, but it was like, okay, well, how are you going to generate any kind of source of income? How are you going to generate revenue? You're not going to do it in the hunting world. You could, but I'm not banking on that, right? I'm not going to be able to go buy groceries with that. So you need to look at what actually makes you want to host a show, first of all, and is the show going to be what actually generates the money? No, not at all. In fact, you're almost paying to have a show. To generate revenue, you have to take advantage of what you're good at, which is the video side and the production, the editing. And then you have to, branch out. I don't really care if I'm doing a wedding or what I'm filming. I love filming.
And you're doing this full time?
I'm not doing this full
Not
time.
yet.
I'm doing it like close to full time. I bet you I'm at 30, 40 hours a week.
You just won't admit it yet.
It's like moonlighting in perspective.
Yeah.
I'm under moonlight working until weird hours.
So when do you think you're gonna?
Weird
When do
hours.
you think you're not? When do you think you're gonna flip?
As soon as I can generate 75% of my current salary, I will think about leaving and taking that flight, you know,
Right.
and going on that little crazy ride. But until I can do that, it wouldn't be a wise decision. Because here's why. If this year is a good year because, you know, I'm able to book so many clients, well, I can't depend on that client to book with me again next year.
Yeah.
And unless I'm booking jobs out into the next year already, I have no way to forecast what might come in.
It's very little repeatable business.
Yes, and so it's a scary, so until we generate a big enough network of clientele, it's just not, it's not
So
dependable.
for these, 14-year-old kids that are listening to this right now, I'm gonna be the next YouTube guy. What 6,000 subscriber means? How much do you get from YouTube a month?
Like nothing.
I mean, like $7.
Yeah, like you don't get paid until you exceed $100. They won't cut you a check until you
Right.
exceed $100. And you have to, you might be up to like $100 because you had so many views and whatever the algorithm spews at you, but then it might sink by the end of the month. So it kind of fluctuates. It's a weird
Have you
revenue
ever gotten
stream.
a check from them?
Yeah, I bet you in total in 6 years I've probably made $1,200 from YouTube
Right.
total. You know.
So there's the guys that, and I say they look like Weird Al Yankovic. They're the hunters that do like public land only.
Oh yeah,
The
man.
hunting
Four
public.
dudes. Well, who are them guys?
The hunting public.
The hunting public, right?
Yeah,
they're doing
they're
like
great.
1 million views like in
Yeah.
24 hours. So how did they get there? How did they turn into that guy?
Well,
Do you, I mean, and maybe it's a good story, maybe it's a bad story.
that's
How
their
did
story to tell, but I know,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
had the
true.
same partner in the beginning. I know that, they're, when they first, spread their wings, Legendary Whitetails is the one that was out of Jackson. That was their main sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
And they paid a salary for them, like almost as though they hired, like if you were to hire somebody to come in and do your IT work. They
They were hired hunting.
Yeah, and then they,
Sounds like a cool job.
but
Right.
they were just the headline sponsor, but they paid like a good
And
amount
they
of
do
money.
good work, and you can tell they're grinding. I mean, they are somewhere different, and it's unique, and they're challenging themselves. I mean, it's good. The video may not be great, but again, it's kind of that viral. The video may not seem great, but it's like this viral good content.
But they're
that
different than us, Joel. Like, okay,
Well, you guys are so different.
yeah, we make film
I'm
basically,
just using that as like a
Yeah.
YouTube sensation example.
and they what they do
You're
is
like making a movie.
yeah, they're a YouTube sensation because they're producing content weekly. I mean, I'm producing 25 videos
Right.
a year, but I'm putting 20 hours, 25 hours into each
Yeah.
one for a 15-minute video.
Yeah.
You watch our stuff and it's like there's cinematic quality. There is a level of edit, and not to toot my own horn, but we put heart and soul into every little detail, the timing between clips, the transitions, the color grading, all
So
of
they're
the
just throwing
audio.
shit out there.
Yeah, I mean they're good.
They're
It's
good.
just-
I'm saying, and it's different. Especially the way I watch video is the way that you're putting out content. That's kind of the way I grew up.
Mhm.
It's interesting the way my 7th grader watches video. He watches this guy. Oh, what's up, Marcus? Shout out to my son. He watches this video with Little Man, he's called, and they're playing video games. And he thinks it's the coolest shit. And the guy puts out tons of content, every day. But they watch it like I grew up watching. I didn't grow up watching Seinfeld, but it's their sitcom. They get used to the guy's shtick and the rhythm of it. And public hunting's kind of the same way. Like you get used to the characters,
Yeah.
right? Where you're putting out movies.
Yeah, but I love
Does
watching.
that make sense?
Yeah, that's 100% accurate.
My 7th grade son might be bored by Chase Nation because they're like,
But yeah,
he's like,
he's-
let's go.
and he's
I
gonna
want
have
this,
to wait.
I want this like action, and I want this guy,
Yeah.
like falling over and kind of the outtakes within the outtakes,
It's
right?
easy to follow the hunting public because you know that they're coming out with something and you want to follow along with their adventure. It's real time. I mean,
Yeah, it's
they're
like a
hunting.
sitcom. It's more like
Yeah,
a sitcom,
and
right?
they
Like I
go-
want to see the next.
Yeah.
I got home from school and I want to see the next Sesame Street. Like, let's go, right? Like, or I don't know what I was when I was in 7th grade, what I was watching, but yeah, I was watching the Cosby Show, right? Like, I want to see next week's. Let's go.
Yep.
And it's the continuing story. Keep going, sorry.
Well, no, and that's just it. I mean, you got to wait. I mean, Steve, what does it take? I've got his bear footage from a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and I'm like 3 minutes into it of the actual timeline, right? But I've got like 9 hours invested into this edit. 3 minutes, I've got 9 hours into. That's how much time it takes. I'm trying to get it out because it's still relevant because people are still bear hunting. But like pretty soon, people are gonna be done bear hunting. They're gonna be all whitetails, and they're just not gonna care anymore.
And I've learned a lot. Some people are doing a lot of the fishing shows are doing the season before.
Yeah.
So they're doing all tape
Yep.
from last year, and then they edit all winter, basically, right? They do some ice fishing, and then they're launching it.
If I was a
the following year.
patient man, I would have waited until 2017 to start Chase Nation and just founded it in 2016. But instead, I just started like producing.
Throwing out content. Now, you're chasing
Now I'm
it.
chasing my own tail.
Right,
Yeah,
to some degree.
That's what we're
Okay.
doing. So like, when I
So
leave
it's hard to
here,
get ahead of that.
when I leave here, I'm going to go to Steve's house. I'm going to get footage from him. I'm going to pick up some bear meat. Like, this is my grind, man. And then, like, Eric Starr, he's in West Bend. He lives close by. When he shoots something, I got to pop out here and grab his SD cards, or he'll meet me. That's how it works. It's you're chasing tail all the time. Not chasing tail. I mean, yeah, we do that too. But chasing our own tails.
That's a different podcast.
That's a different
Right.
podcast.
Yeah.
That's not on.
One more.
It's on a different app. That's not on Carbon TV. So,
Like you said,
yeah,
too, though,
go ahead,
like
Marcus.
some of your best.
Isn't this intriguing?
It is.
Wildly
yeah.
intriguing.
Because like what you just said there, like some of your best videos this
Sure,
year,
yeah.
the best one you did. But now it's rifle season now, and it's getting released, and nobody's really interested in that. But that might be your best video you had yet.
I mean, it could be. I mean, when you see it, I mean, Steve's the one that just did it. He self-filmed it. He's got 4 camera angles of the arrow hitting the bear. I mean, sometimes we struggle just to get one camera on, like, the deer, And
being a hunter myself, if you can't explain that, like, it's very hard to calm yourself and shoot an animal, and then know there's camera angles and other things going on. It's actually, honestly, artistically remarkable. And as a hunter, you have to be unbelievably skilled, patient, and trained. And when it all comes together to shoot an animal, and I'm a God guy, it is absolutely like a magical, spiritual,
Sure is.
and it might be instinctual, right? I mean, cavemen celebrated it, like, and I love Native American stories. Like, there is something spiritual about that, and to add the complexity of other things, of camera angles and shots, and then to see the camera and being like, I got it, like, that must just be
It's rewarding.
beyond rewarding, right? I mean, killing an animal is the saddest thing you do, but the most rewarding thing that I think you can experience as a human, almost as a man, and again,
100%.
women too. But that's a cool freaking vibe. I just love it. I love taking that animal, and yeah, you're taking its life, but you're feeding your family with it. Now we're getting into hunting. But,
well, one of the things that
I'm trying to say, add the video and then the editing part of it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it so much.
Well, thank you, and I really appreciate the way when you reached out to me about the military videos that we do, the PTSD awareness videos we do with HHA. And
See how we just transitioned to that? That was pretty good.
You guys are a huge sponsor and advocate of that as well. You reached out to me personally. We talked about it. I mean, that's why we're going to be taking a veteran out, onto Drexel ground.
Well, let's step back
Yeah.
to kind of debrief him of that. So Chase Nation, and again, you have like missions within missions. But one thing that I love about you guys is that I don't think you're at the tipping point yet, but I think you're close. Like, I feel like you have multiple things out there, and one of them's gonna. I feel like my personal belief as an outsider and maybe a business guy for my whole life, you have a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
Probably too much. But I feel like you're trying a lot of different things, and one of them's going to click.
One of them has to stick. It's
Is that
got to
what you're
hit.
kind of- is
Yeah,
that what
you
you're kind of
gotta
doing
you
too?
gotta put the feelers out, and then
You got
one
like
of
a
them's gonna
shotgun
hit.
blast, but I hope you do that. I know you will. Once you see one, I hope you just go that way. So
Yeah.
tell me about this veteran relationship you have and the passion for it and what you're doing.
Sure.
Kind of go all the way back, even like your inspiration.
Yeah.
for it.
Okay. So, Chris Ham is the owner of HHA. Makes archery tackle. Release. They focus on sights, and then they have
So like
stabilizers.
for guys like Marcus, that's a
Accessories.
basketball jock. Accessories for both. We'll dumb it
Oh,
down.
perfect.
Talk to me like I'm
Yeah,
a
I know. We need
fifth.
that.
Talk to
Yeah,
me like
yeah.
I'm a fifth grader, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Like so both sides, right? But they're state of the art, and they're the single pin with this formula that they've got on some tape. So you got one pin, and you turn a dial, like the deer's at 20 yards. You turn the dial to 20 yards, and he goes out to 40. You range him, and then you can spin the dial to 40, and the pin raises up. Rather than having a bunch of pins and getting lost in which one is which,
And
sometimes
guessing.
it happens.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what HHA is. And Chris Ham is co-owner with his brother, right? His dad founded it. Well, Chris has this enormous, he's also very godly, and he's got this enormous respect for military veterans. Well, it happens to be that we do too. And I'm sure a lot of us do, right?
Amen.
So he started this nonprofit organization called HHA USA. And with that, it was all focused on the 22 a day. You know, the 22 veterans that take their life each day because of that silent killer, PTSD.
Sam Floyd, what's up? Operation Coffee. We use the coffee here every day at Blue Door Coffee Company. Sam gives 10% back to suicide awareness.
That's phenomenal.
And it's actually funny, some of the veterans that we've met actually know Sam personally,
Oh,
too,
really?
that we've talked to, yeah.
Yeah, if you know
Yep,
Sam,
Chad
you'll
Still,
never
Chad
forget.
Stillman.
Yeah, I
knows
usually
him.
get upset when I meet another Sam. Like, I'm the only one that's supposed to be Sam, but he sounds like he deserves to have the
He
name.
definitely deserves
He's
to
a
have
good
that
guy.
name. He's a unique
He's a good
guy,
guy.
and
Very cool.
I live on his coffee.
All right. So, so Chris is like, you know what? I want to do something to generate even more awareness. He's already doing these archery shoots all over the state. He's like, hey, what if we do these videos? Now, we're partners with HHA. So in part of the partnership agreement, when we were talking, like, well, what can we do to generate some value back to you? He's like, well, I love your editing style. Why don't we, I have you make some videos for me. I really want to reach a larger audience. I want to share what we're doing here with HHA USA. Why don't we do some documentaries on veterans that come to my shoots, who I know personally, who have a story to tell and are willing to tell that story, and who have found archery in the outdoors to be their light. You know, that's like their saving grace, really, their therapy.
Isn't that like damn? Like they just like mic drop. So keep going. Sorry.
So what's interesting, so we started doing these. Steve's been right there alongside me doing it. In fact, this year, when I was going through some personal stuff, I couldn't make it to some of these shoots to go interview and do these films. So Steve was at the helm, going solo, spending a whole day at some of these shoots, filming these guys, giving me the footage, and I'm editing, you know, producing these films, right? These guys stand up there and they talk about horrific stories sometimes. I mean, some of them, admittedly, as an editor, you know, I have to watch the same clip 100 times just to get the timing right to go to the next clip. And they're talking over and over. You're hearing the same words, and the stories they're awful. Like, some of them are just brutal. And I have a little bit of transferred PTSD from that. Like, when I talk about it, like even now, I kind of get like a little shaky about it because they're no good, you know. So you understand where the PTSD comes from. And then they go into, like, that's the first half, and these are 10-minute episodes. The second half, they go into how archery saved their life, you know.
I believe I've watched them all. They're fantastic, by the way.
I appreciate
to
it.
find them, right, a little shout out to you guys or whatever. To find them, you would go to YouTube,
Yeah.
search Chase Nation,
Yes.
scroll through.
You go to YouTube, look for Chase Nation TV, and you'll find them there. You can go to HHA USA's YouTube channel. We don't monetize these. These are just out there. I don't want anybody getting screwed over with commercials to watch. These are purely to save lives. And the amount of people that have reached out to us to say thank you is overwhelming. Like, it's interesting. There's so many people that battle with PTSD. It doesn't have to be somebody that's a first responder or a military veteran. It could be anybody. It could be somebody who's gone through a terrible relationship where, you know, they had some unfaithful spouse and
Car accident,
whatever.
You just can't let go of, right?
But they don't talk about it, and they don't know where it comes from, but they're unhappy, and they don't know where to place that
And I think
pain.
more now in our culture in 2022 than in the history of time, probably.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people messed up right now.
So we went down to the Badlands Film Fest. Now this is a pertinent story, so hear me out. We go down to the Badlands Film Fest. Our
It's
first
your show. You do what you want.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Our first ever HHA USA film was selected over 200 video submissions or film submissions, and we made it as one of the premier feature short films. And so we got to go down to was that Kentucky,
Yep.
and we got to see it on the big screen, and it was the most amazing thing. Well, you know what? Afterwards, we're taking pictures. We're all smiling and giddy because, you know, we were number 4 out of you know, that finalist 8s that, you know, were actually chosen. And some goodie comes up to me and says, you know, thanks for making that. It was a really special film, but I got a question for you, a serious question. I said, what's that? He goes, what makes you think that archery is going to save somebody's life? Why do you think that's going to last, right? I mean, I get how it might be a vice for you in the intermediary stages, or it might be like right now it's going to fix me, but how is that going to fix me for the rest of my life? Because I have PTSD and I don't talk about it. And I was like, you know what? I don't know. Let me ask. So I went to the guy who was in the film, right? And his name was David Wooten, and I said, David, this is what this guy said to me. I got his number. What should I tell him? He goes, oh, this is easy. He goes, this isn't about a one-time deal. It's not like, oh, I found archery, now I know how to read, you know, I know how to displace my attention by focusing on my aim, and that's going to save my life. No, what it is when you're coming home and you're getting into, you know, traffic and you're getting pissed off and you're just in a bad mood and all these demons come to light and you don't want to walk in the door and scream at your wife and be mean to your kids, you reach in the door, grab your bow, shoot 20, 30 times, and that releases the tension, and that soothes you, and then you go in and you say hi to everybody and you eat dinner and you hug your kids. That's how, you know, it lasts a lifetime. So archery is always there. Your bow is always there. The outdoors are always going to be there as long as we have land. And that's the answer I gave the guy. And you know, he started crying. And I was like, damn, you know, this stuff, it hits. It really hits. So that's what we do with HHA USA. It's a huge part of Chase Nation.
I'm looking up a quote, so I'm not like.
I get it.
I'm not like Googling my friend or anything.
But it's a huge part of what we do now, and it's one of the things that, you know, it's one of our accolades, I guess, too. And when people say, "What have you guys done that you're really proud of?" I'd say it's the work we've done with our veterans. In HHA and Drexel, you know, you guys being a huge
advocate. So what does Drexel do? 'Cause like we alluded to that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, nobody barely knows that, but like 3 people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we doing at Drexel to partner with you guys to speak to that mission? Which is again, it's complicated, but can you kind of like dumb that down?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, you know, Drexel owns a lot of land all over the state, and then there's one part.
We're working on it.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat deal what you've got going on there, and giving us a place to hunt and allowing us to use that land to make videos. One of our deals, what's written into our agreement, is I'm going to produce a film with somebody from the team each year, and then a military veteran, and I think that's really cool. And then in addition, a big bunch of the money that was, you know, provided by Drexel went directly as a donation, as a sponsorship donation to HHA USA, which is huge. So now if anybody watches HHA USA film, they'll see Drexel's name in the takeaway screen. You know, it's a honor, in my opinion.
I was thinking the opposite. It's an honor to be part of this mission. So it's so cool, and I'm so glad you came on the podcast to kind of explain that. Because we can't wait to film these videos. We can't wait to see Drexel out there more with you guys.
Yeah.
I can't wait 5 years from now, and I know you've been through like a long grind to see results, but in 5 years from now, when you guys take this thing to the moon, and I'm some little part of it, I can't wait to be back on in 5 years. And
it's going to be cool.
We got there.
We are like crawling up this mountain, right? And it's been a grind. It's like, it's challenged my relationship at home. You know, it's challenged my mental integrity. I put these guys to the test. You know, Steve is my right-hand man. He's always been. He is really literally my right-hand man. I've got 4 guys on my team that I can lean on. I got Steve, I got Eric, I got Dave, and Travis. If I call Steve, it's because I need something, and I know he's one of the core guys because when I need something, he'll jump. You know, his wife will like say.
He said the same thing at Drexel too.
Thank you.
Shout out to him and his team.
And
Good-looking dude up here on the screen.
Oh, look at that.
There he is.
Hey!
That was a really, really hot day. Let me just tell you that.
do you know something? I should probably go and fix like what the title of that picture is. Steve.jpg. You know,
Maybe.
it should say something cool like, you know, spring turkey or I don't know,
Yeah,
anything.
the logarithm.
Or
Google's not fighting
handlebar
that.
mustache. Like, look at that.
Yeah,
You know,
Google's not fighting that. Yeah, best handlebar turkey mustache ever.
But yeah, I'm really fortunate to have a really great team that helps put together what we do. Steve, like I said, it goes deeper with Steve. You know, Steve is not only with Chase Nation been a huge, a cornerstone of what we've grown into. But Steve's followed me all over the country, really all over the Midwest. I fished muskie tournaments professionally for many years. Steve followed me for a couple seasons, getting in the boat, running camera. I'm talking 10-hour days with nothing to do. He's not allowed to touch the net. He can't touch a lure. He can't do anything but drink whatever he brought, eat sandwiches, and hold a camera.
No, the camera guys are like the unsung hero, right?
And sometimes it's like this in the waves and all day under beating sun, and he's just sitting there, and you're musky fishing. So if you see one, it's a good day. You
Right.
lose one, it's like a good, bad day. And then if you catch one, it's phenomenal.
Right.
So he's got to be ready at any minute to turn the camera on
Right.
and be on it and be perfect.
Right.
And he's nailed it. I mean, we were on Keys Outdoors.
You couldn't pay me enough to do that.
Oh, man.
I'm having a beer. I'm off.
I got
Don't-
seasick just hearing that.
Well, I would be like, don't catch anything for like the next hour because I'm gonna have a beer and a sandwich. And,
You'd think he'd be like sleeping or whatever. He's always alert. One tournament we got 7 muskies on St. Clair. He got every
Crazy.
one of them on film.
Yeah.
Eagle River Chain, we won first place and PMTT event, and he was on it for all of those fish. Every one of them on it.
So does Chase Nation still do? I mean, are you like not only broad in what you do? Are you broad in what you do in outdoors? Are you
Dude, I
still
mean, if
fishing?
it has to do with outdoors,
Yeah,
we're
you're
filming
there.
it. Yeah,
You're
and you better believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, our meat is whitetails, right? But we go and we do elk hunts. We go if we
Bear
get
hunting, obviously.
bear hunts.
Stay tuned.
Billy
Yeah.
goat hunts, mule deer if we're gonna go after them, pronghorn, doesn't matter.
What's your okay? Let's get a little personal. We've done a lot of chase, which I could keep going,
Yeah.
but we're going to run out of time quick. Is your personal bucket list, right? You got unlimited money, unlimited funds. You got unlimited time, right? For some reason in your life, you got
Hey, what's
unlimited
that?
time.
Yeah.
What's the dream hunt fish? What's the dream outdoor experience right now? And life changes, right? Buckets list change. What's your ultimate experience right
My
now?
number one always has and will be until I do it, a New Zealand red stag hunt.
Red steak.
Yeah, red stag.
The steaks,
Yeah,
the big steaks.
big
are like
roaring
between-
stags.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
with
New Zealand.
archery.
We
Yep.
both just learned something
Sam
here.
Floyd lived in New Zealand.
Really?
The guy that we mentioned, Operation Coffee, he's lived in New Zealand. You should talk to him.
Yeah, like
Red stags, huh?
just to me, they're such a majestic animal with their huge antlers
Yeah.
and the way that they roar when they get into their rut like stage, and it's just
Cool.
The New Zealand speaks to me because of just that green pastures. Like
Yep.
that just seems so green.
and the mountains
like,
and the
greenest
diversity
green. Yeah.
of landscape in New
The
Zealand.
way they treated COVID, I might never go because I'm like,
Right.
what the hell's going on
That's-
over there? I don't want to get trapped
Well,
there for the next 20 years.
So they
or the
have
next-
red stag in
or the
South
next-
America too, so that might be the other option.
I don't want to get trapped there for 20 years and the next cough comes around. I have to go back to my quote before I get to yours.
Go ahead.
I was Googling it. We talked. So this goes back to our conversation that we had about that guy asking you, why would bow hunting, right, affect me and help me long term,
Yeah.
right? And to me, this is one of my favorite outdoor quotes that I'm currently stuck on. And into the forest I go to lose my mind and find my soul, by John Muir.
Yeah, beautiful.
And like when I'm out, yeah, it is beautiful. Like when I'm outside, I lose my mind, I find my soul. Things calm down, things slow down, and my soul's there. I always say we're a little closer to God outdoors, and it's totally a lie. I've told my priest friends, it's a total lie. God's everywhere all the time, but I am more aware of God. Like it's the most amazing thing. Like I'm this little fall push we're having right now. Like I'm just dying to get in the woods because I just want to do that. I want to lose my mind and find my soul. I give 2 shits if I see a deer. I'm not one of them guys like obsessed with antlers or shooting anything or whatever. Like I just want to be out there. Like a good night for me fishing or hunting is being out there. Like the rest is just like whatever. I don't care at all. I like literally don't care. And I would tell anybody that struggles with anxiety or pressure, and even if you're not a hunter, walk hiking trails, get outside daily, walk, the vitamin D thing, the soul searching. You got to stay, all research, anything you would Google, stay off your phone 20, 25 minutes, walk. Like walking is super fucking underrated. Excuse my French. I haven't sworn the whole episode. That was like
No, you know what? I have a swear jar that Steve has to populate with quarters. He is a master.
I'm
swear
paying
jar.
Well, it's
Sam
like
now to work
it's
for
the
him,
longest
really.
podcast I've ever done without swearing.
Yeah.
Including when probably.
You were like, how much? So how do you pay your guys? It's like you don't understand. Steve pays for
I pay
money
Sam to work for him.
His swear jar is so tall.
Yeah, well, so that was, so I'm very passionate about the outdoors can help you. Bucket list for you, hunting, fishing, outdoors, what would it be?
Boy, I don't know. I guess I really want to go on a float hunt for moose. Probably do a Saskatchewan hunt. And
Explain a float hunt to guys
Well,
like Marcus.
So you're on a canoe or a raft, and you get on a river and you get out and you see, spot a big bull moose. And I've never done it, but it looks pretty cool. If you get out with a paddle and start smacking it on stuff and making that weird noise that Steve does all the
So
time.
moose like can't see, so you use like the paddle, and they think it's like
Yeah,
they
big
they
antlers.
think you're a moose, and they think you're antlers, and you do this like, and
Yeah.
shit happens.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do it? 'Cause you
Yeah, do it. Let's get it to moose hunt.
No, I'm under pressure.
Well, you need to give him another beer. When he's drunk. Yeah. Yeah, just like
That's
that.
close.
I picked it pretty good in the headphones here.
I believe it. Yeah, you should
Tried
see
to
when he
block the
does
mic
that
a
in
little bit
public.
so it wasn't so loud.
Yeah, it seemed like a thing. I
Mhm.
don't know. Found it.
So that would probably be it, I'd love to do that.
That's cool.
But I don't know if Saskatchewan is the right place to say, but somewhere in Canada, wherever
Yeah,
the
yeah.
hell you go, wherever
Point-
you go.
point to-
Again,
give me a map.
as long as they let me into the country.
Yeah.
Dropping
I
our,
heard the
well, they're
vaccines are- I heard the
dropping the
vaccines are
vaccine
dropping,
mandate.
yeah,
and
right.
Yeah. Oh, but that would be a bucket lister. That or elk hunting, somewhere.
Yeah.
I would like a Colorado elk hunt. I see. I'm not like a. It's not what I'm hunting so much, or it's more like where.
Yeah. it's
Like
there.
people want to go kill a big bull elk. It's like, well, I know that Arizona is great, right? New Mexico. I don't want to go anywhere near there to kill elk. That terrain doesn't strike me.
It doesn't. Yeah.
But I like the idea of being in like those aspen thickets up in like say late September, like it is right now, and you get up in Colorado. That to me speaks volumes. That I want to
can
have
just
that.
taste that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just
You
taste
smell it.
That
Even
would
being
be
a nut hunter, right? Oh.
that would be a
But
killer.
you can
elk
see
hunt.
why he's a great video movie. Like he tells a great story, right?
Well, I get carried away and lost in the weeds when I get to describing things. I was a writer for 25 years. I still am a writer, and that's how I broke into this industry. This outdoor space is outdoor writing, and that's how I initially built my network and got introduced to like
On
these
blogs?
shows. No,
Books?
writing for
Magazine
magazines.
articles?
Yeah, and then when print started to go dead, I started writing for online media publications. I wrote for Legendary Whitetail for one season. I think I kicked out like 60 articles in 1 year.
Dang.
Just pounding them out. I just love writing, but I'm a very visual person. That's why I love photography and videography
And the editing portion.
and editing portion. The whole thing, it's like an art to me. And when I put words together, I'm trying to make you feel like if when we're out there, you can feel, you can smell, like say we're by the sea and you can smell that sea air and you can feel that kiss on your cheek, that like it's a warmth. You got the warm thermals, but you got that cold air coming off the sea, and it kind of kisses your cheek and gives you like
Lake
goosebumps.
Michigan, let's just not
Yeah.
get crazy.
That kind of thing, you can feel that. You can kind of feel like the peach fuzz on your cheekbones, rise up because of that
So
texture.
if you can capture that on video, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and in words, and I like articulate that in a way that makes you feel and smell and taste all of the senses in that, embody everything about that experience.
Oh, amen, brother. I love that so much.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah, but how hard is it to get that article or that video to be perfect where you're not, you spend obviously forever trying to get that perfect, but how do you know when to stop and be like, that's good enough?
That's
Yeah.
a good question, because sometimes
Better done than perfectly done. And I do think
Yeah.
maybe your weakness may be that, right?
It is.
Because you can't, we say that at work. I say that at work a lot. I help a lot of people in businesses a lot. And one of my favorite sayings is better done than perfectly done. They're like, Joe, how do you get so much shit done in a day? Or how have you grown this business? And I'm like, you got to settle. Like that last 3% is never worth it. The last 5% is never worth, that squeeze is never worth the juice, right? Like you take that lemon, but it seems like you're the guy getting that last drip.
it is really a learned thing. I don't think you could say that and somebody could understand it. Conceptually, it makes sense, right? But put yourself in like an editor's chair, and you've got this clip that's immaculate, right? But you've got the stage set, you've got the scene to portray, but this clip, while you think the whole thing is immaculate, only a portion of it really will contribute to the bigger picture. And you need to blade that clip into like 3 seconds. And it destroys you because you're like, God, but this part is so cool, but you can't use the whole thing. So you have to learn how to like detach yourself and pick that pinnacle moment that really feeds into the next scene. And I always fight with myself because I don't know which piece I want to use. Like, damn, like there's a leaf falling and this guy had this, like Steve was filming, and he was settled on a branch and this leaf was kind of cradling like this with the wind, and all of a sudden it broke, and he was perfect on his focus, crisp. Color was good, and he followed it seamlessly like this, just down to the bottom, and it floated and it hit the ground. I can then go
My
make.
7th grader's not going to give 2 shits about that.
Yeah, I know. But as a visual
Sorry,
person,
Marcus.
I'm like obsessed with that. You know, I'm
Yeah,
like,
right,
damn,
right.
now that right there made
Right.
me feel like it's autumn.
Right.
I can feel the cold in the air that morning. And I've been in the stands so many times, you know, bow hunting, where it's like you can hear them break off of the branches when it's dead still and there's some fog, you know, some steam, because it's kind of like that intermediate, you know,
I'm like there. Like, I'm like literally, you're so good descriptive. It's so good.
So that's what like I struggle with, and I used to overproduce stuff, you know, because of that, because I couldn't help myself. But I've learned that, you know, in order to be really effective, and you gotta, the whole purpose that Chase Nation started was to share the experience. 100% wasn't to make money. It was a passion project. It was like, I need to exercise my brain. This is how I do my art.
It's just like a release. It's like an outlet.
But if I'm going to do my art this way and put it in the public, you know, I need to remember that I'm sharing the experience. This is the whole point. This is what we experienced. You didn't get to experience this. I'm going to bring that to your, you know, house, and you get to watch it in the comfort of your own home, or a lot of people probably watch it on their phones from a toilet seat. You know, who knows?
That's where I went.
But you know, but damn, I mean, that is essentially it. And so, like, people can be really harsh too, you know, with their criticisms and stuff, and that's cool. I've developed a real thick skin because I'm so used to it by now. You're always going to have your critics, but you know you've won when you get a large amount of people that say that they've had some sort of emotion generated by what you've created. It doesn't matter, you know, if you're the toughest guy on the block. I've made the strongest military men cry, like, on command. And that right there means that you're doing your job well, and you're producing something to a level or standard that's really appreciated. That's how you know you succeeded.
Yeah, and I like to say the phrase, especially when we're talking about social media and chasing those likes and chasing those numbers, it's quality over quantity.
Oh,
And
hell yes.
my analogy for that, which is kind of funny but actually true, right? Adolf Hitler had millions and millions of followers. Jesus Christ had 12. Right?
Yeah,
Don't forget
the
that.
apostles, yeah.
Yep.
Right? Like
Very
Jesus
good.
had, at the end of the day, Jesus had 12 people following him. Nazis were millions.
That's
It's quality
that's a
over
really-
quantity.
that is a
right?
really good
so again, if
analogy.
you can make an impact, or Mother Teresa says, you know, said when she was alive, you know, make the impact. You can change the world by making the impact in the most smallest. And I'm super obsessed with that. In the smallest ways, right? Smiling for people. Again, if you can have one person a day or one person a year
Yeah.
truly be impacted by your videos, versus a million people watching it for 13 and a half minutes and getting your money,
Yeah.
which one would you rather have, right? I want to change one person's life
100%.
Without a doubt.
than that a million people watch it for 13 and a half minutes and you're just nobody, right?
I think
No, you got to be Mr. Beast and be both, and then be
Right.
and then be a $100 million billionaire, right?
I think if this ever came down to money, man, I'd just give it up, because it just would take everything away.
Right. But
This is-
you know, I feel like, and I say that a lot of work too. You're building your root right now,
Yeah.
and then the fruit will come.
Yeah.
Never count your fruit. Never count your fruit. Always dig that root. But I feel like you're digging a lot of roots right now. So we got to wrap it up with the billboard. But before we do that, let's just give this shout out. If you want to learn more about Chase Nation, if you want to go for the book us, right? Like, what can we all do? If I want to learn more about Chase Nation, go to chasenation.tv.
Yep.
Chasenation.tv. We can do a photo shoot, which is like, I don't know.
Trophy photos, you have a
Right. First
Anything.
of all,
shoot an animal, you want family portraits, anything like that.
Right. So that's cool. That's not my speed, because I don't shoot big animals. I just shoot little.
Doesn't have to be big though. I mean, it's all about capturing the memory,
Yeah, I'll just do a
right?
selfie or something. Right? But like for some people, right? They love that shit. I love that. I mean, it's just like getting something mountain. Like photo shoot might be more than the mountain. So that's for some people. Video editing, film production. We can do drone photography. They can do wedding videos. They can do the recovery film. Which means what? Like if you shoot some shit.
Yeah, and you're
I got
like,
a dog,
man, I got to
this whole
remember
thing."
this moment, man. Can you guys come out here and film this
That's
for us?
deep.
You know, and it's happened. I mean,
Yeah.
right there is case in point. I mean, that's
badass.
That's
That'd
me
be
and
cool.
a bean filming a girl with a lantern with her husband going to track a buck he shot.
I'll call you next time I catch like a 12-inch bass on Killamaraine.
Yeah, sweet.
I'll be there.
Yeah, they'll be there for
We get our
everything,
chest
right?
waders on.
I would guess if you want something videoed or photoed, challenge these guys and they'll be there.
Definitely.
Right? All right, cool. All right, let's get to this billboard thing. So again, anything else you want to do to promote your company?
No, thank you very much.
I think
thanks
we
for having
great.
us.
So let's do the billboard, right? So last thing that we do is you have this big giant billboard. We ask this to everybody. Big giant billboard. What's on it? and the why behind it. I think we learn a lot about life and a lot about the people we have on by asking these questions.
You go ahead. What do you think?
I'm gonna say, I'm picturing a picture of me on a billboard with just like a saying, loves family, friends, and the outdoors. I think that kind of sums me up. Anybody that really knows me would probably agree that that's where I live my life, right? Like my family's first, my friends, and the outdoors. You give me that, I'm a happy camper.
As he's saying it, he's got like
Yeah, I know, it is though, but that's what it is,
passionate guy.
It is.
Appreciate it, man.
I love it.
Good.
This is a tough one, and especially to follow up on that one. What do I do? Do I do times 2 or something? Like Steve squared?
Deuces, done.
I don't know. This is a billboard to sell myself, or like
No,
what?
anything. Like you have one big giant billboard. Millions of people are going to see it. It's going to stay up for a long time. It's your billboard. You put anything on it that you want. It can be a picture. It can be a vision.
Yeah.
It can be a quote. It can be about
Yeah.
you. It can be about your company. It can be about nothing.
I think right now where I am in
And
life,
I love that
Yeah.
you said that, Sam. I do think people's billboards and their vision and dreams do change. I
Yeah.
think that's totally okay, and I think for a lot of people listening, they think they can't. It's like, no, things morph, So right now, in your time and place. what we
right
sit
now
on-
in my state of living is very different than it ever has been. So right now, it's all about finding myself. So I think a billboard that just says, black and white, black background, white writing, it just says, you do you. I mean, that would be the biggest thing for me, because I'm on like a spiritual journey right now. And if people just remember that they need to focus on themselves, as long as, as long as you give yourself time to do what you do and you follow your dreams and passion, don't let people beat it up for you. And like, I've been torn down with Chase Nation. I've been, defeated by people that I trusted. I've been, ridiculed for, embarrassed by what I do. My descriptive writing, the music that I use, all that stuff has been criticized by people that were really close to me. And I don't stop doing it because it comes from my heart and my mind. It's my creativity. That is plain and simple. And if I don't follow that, then I'm not making it for me anymore. I'm not doing what I set out to do. I'm doing it for somebody else. While I might be trying to share it with people, it's all started from, here. So for me, it would be you do you,
And if I could expand on that, and I like you do you. I challenge people with you do you, and not that I'm challenging you on that because what you're saying is sincere. I don't always love you do you because that just means like you can do anything. Like there's got to be some morals in life, and
Yeah.
I'm not just going to give you a free pass because it's like you fucking do you,
Yeah.
But if I can expand on that, and I think you're saying that right, I'm very, very been saying that quite often, quite lately. Be absolutely authentic.
That's the best
There
way
you
to
go.
put it.
Right?
Be authentic.
Be authentic. Be you. I will say it this way. I've been saying that at work quite often lately. God made you for a reason.
Yeah.
God put you here for a reason. You're not a mistake. Like God doesn't do mistakes, so you're here for you. And I've even been saying this way, and that might even help Chase Nation or somebody else. I think about the best Facebook posts I've ever seen, the best videos I've ever seen. The things that I'm most drawn to, and I think most people, they're literally the most authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They might even be stupid. And you know what's really crazy? The second they corporate that, or have somebody proofread it, or have like something else, and I quit following those people. I'm like, oh, they changed, right? They got corporate, you say, or whatever. But they're literally just not being authentic. Like even swearing, like if that's me, I tried to quit swearing numerous
You
times.
swear all you want, but just keep feeding the jar.
Well, I don't like to swear either, but like
That's how Sam makes the revenue
ultimately
to
it
Chase
just
Nation.
comes out sometimes in some environments, and it's absolutely be your authentic self. And the more you chase that, the more
Yeah.
people. And it's not about people being drawn to you, but the more the world and the universe is going to be drawn to you because you're being who you are. And the people that I adore the most on the planet Earth, and I think we can all say that, and they might be totally different than me, are like the most authentic people. Like, dude, you're cool. Like I've been told my whole life, right? Joel's quirky, weird, like all that, and I've learned to like absolutely embrace that. Like, yeah, I'm a different dude, and
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna,
okay.
and I'm gonna like chase that different dudeness.
Well, you find out who your real friends are and people that really appreciate you. What you need to remember to not do is change yourself, because a lot of people they see somebody that they are
Aspire to
gravitated
be, right.
towards, and then they try to change themselves to be more like that person, but they don't realize how easy it is to recognize that. I have a very close person in my life that recognizes even those qualities in me and always pushes me to like stay true to my core. you know, like you don't think twice about being yourself. You gotta. That's always a reminder that's put in my ear. Is you just gotta keep being you. The people that like you are the people that are gonna survive in your life, and you know, be around you.
Yeah, and track those kind of people.
Yeah.
Right, and again, you can have different people in your life, but like-minded people is okay. Like the people that you put around you, and sometimes you got to get rid of toxic people to do that. You know, we go back, for some reason that just popped in my head, like the guy that dresses in 100% Sitka, like we might hunt next to each other, but I'm like the dude that wears like the old flannel shirt from 22 years ago, and I want to see if I can get that buck. And like,
me too, man.
am I good? Am I good?
Yeah.
But I appreciate, I don't want that Sitka dude showing up in flannel. Because I'm like, dude, I know you. You love that shit.
Right.
Like, you love $3,000 outfits.
One more horse medicine.
Yeah. And I'm not ripping on that, but we're good, right?
No, I hear
So
you.
that's it, man. We good. We
Thanks.
out.
Thanks so
I
much.
appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Check
Joel,
us
thank
out.
you.
Check out Chase Nation. Peace.